Someone said, "Why am I gonna pay $500 for a picture of a hobo?"
I always thought Kyle Beckerman was a good player.
Fire sticking their foot in it.
They said they were going to cut my food rations.
Cork soaking.
There is no possible way to articulate the malaise, the lack of ambition, the way it's felt for so long to be a fan better than he did. Welcome back to the Enemies of the Fire podcast. This week, the English Premier League wraps up. We follow the Fire West, and we accuse someone of punching us in the face 2 months ago. Gentlemen, I am FCneoTokyo. This is James. This is DPG. And where do we start? What should we talk about? What should we get into right away?
Easy. The only thing that matters. English Premier League.
Yep, the EPL, man.
The EPL, which is down to its final game of the season for the teams that matter. Of course, they don't run a playoff system there. So they're down to 38 games, matches played. Once they reach that number, the season is over. Finite. Kaput.
Yep.
Man City is in the first place by 2 points. Arsenal is in right behind by 2 points. They have a chance to sneak it out if Man City loses. Who are they playing, guys? It looks like Arsenal's playing Everton. So Arsenal needs a big win against Everton. And then they need Man City to lose to West Ham.
Or draw.
To West Ham.
Because they have the edge currently in goal differential by 1.
No, they don't.
So yes, they do.
Yeah,
Arsenal's 61 to 60.
Oh, they do. They have the. All right, so they need goals. So this is going to come down to a very fun final day in the Premier League. Very exciting. I can't wait to check that out. Look at their form. They're the only two teams in all of the EPL that have 5 wins in their last 5. They're both playing out of their minds.
And you have to nowadays. With Man City winning the title every year, you have to be nearly perfect. And it's crazy. I guess I got a question though. Is the season over today? Well, did Man City beating Tottenham deflate Arsenal hard enough that this is already over?
We'll take a closer look. So Man City beat Tottenham today. They also beat Fulham. They beat the Wolves. They beat Nottingham Forest. They beat Brighton. They beat Chelsea. They lost to Real Madrid in the Champions League, and we all know how that goes. Last segment, we have a segment about that. Talk about Real Madrid versus Borussia Dortmund. Go check that out. Also, we have Man City beating Luton Town. Man City beating Crystal Palace. Man City beating Aston Villa, and finally tying Arsenal all the way back on March 31st. That game might have major implications.
It definitely does. I mean, I guess you can't expect to be a champion without beating the absolute best. But man, when does this become kind of the Bundesliga? It's just Man City.
It's not though, because you definitely have other teams in it. It's just the fact that I don't know. Man City to me strikes me as more accomplished than what Bayern has to go through, because it's in a weird way. Wow, maybe we shouldn't discount that, but I do look at the Bundesliga as, kind of like the one team league, but we got the Bayern and everybody else. Meanwhile, in EPL, it's usually Man City lately, but it could be Manchester United's year. It could be Arsenal's year. It could be Leicester from out of nowhere. It could be.
Hold on though. Since what? Since 2016, we've only had 2 other than Man City win it.
Yeah.
The one year that we had Leicester, and then we had the magical, one of the best teams you've ever seen on the planet, Liverpool run.
Chelsea and Liverpool. I didn't mention either of those teams, but they're always in it too. So I mean, it seems a little bit different than Bundesliga in that way. But here, Bundesliga is with finally their first different winner of the season, of the past few seasons.
All right.
I'm so happy. They just won 50 in a row, by the way. Bayern Leverkusen. Or not 150, my bad. Unbeaten in 50 games. I'm sorry.
But don't worry, Bayern's going to win next year because they're going to buy out all the players from Bayern.
Yeah, they'll buy whoever they... Yeah, exactly. Well, they're going to... Just don't bring up Thomas Tuchel. I almost wouldn't even take him at the Fire. Almost. But,
What?
But, I mean, what... So, Okay, so before we even talk Man City, though,
Mhm.
let's backtrack. Arsenal, long-suffering Arsenal, like since Thierry Henry suffering Arsenal, right? They're playing. Who'd you say they were playing? Everton.
Everton.
Yeah.
Everton's what? 3 wins and they're 4 wins and a draw in their last 5. Like, is it a foregone conclusion that Arsenal's gonna beat Everton? And like, let's give Everton their flowers for just a second. They've lost what, 12 points this season? They're still in 15th. Give them 12 points. They're in the top half of the Premiership. I mean,
Hey,
it's
they
kind
saved
of
themselves
wild.
from relegation, so
Exactly. So, I mean, is it a foregone conclusion? James, do you think Arsenal's beaten Everton?
I think Arsenal can beat Everton. What is more
Well, can beat, but will.
They will beat Everton. Man City will. That's the real question. to me.
Well, I mean, West Ham's in 9th. They've had a pretty good season.
Yeah, but they've had a disappointing season. They wanted to be bigger. They have bigger.
They do.
They have bigger ambitions. And right now, if they could play spoiler, they would celebrate this for years to come. This would be their championship.
Catch that tiny club in front of
You
them.
know what sucks about this EPL season though? You know what sucks? Is that you're not gonna have a relegation battle.
Well, it's already over, isn't it?
Yep. I mean,
Or
there's
no,
no way.
no, Nottingham Forest and Luton are a point away from each other.
Look
Two
at
points away.
Yeah, they are.
Look,
3
they're-
points. 3 points.
3 points.
Oh,
Look at
no,
the-
never mind. They got
Yeah.
no, you're right. They've got the goal differential.
They
So,
got
yeah,
10
you're
goals.
right.
It's over.
Yeah, everybody's done for. You're right. Everybody's relegated.
Yeah, they are relegated. They're clicked to relegate. They're all red. Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield United. Nottingham Forest escapes relegation. So does Brentford, Everton, Fulham, Wolves. What's going on in EFL?
Oh, Leicester is coming up. We're down to the final game of the playoffs, right? Like it's who else came in? Leicester and
Hold on, I gotta look it up.
oh, I'm blanking. It's somebody.
I thought, Leicester won, and I'm excited about that. I'm going to take a closer look here. Let's zoom that in. Leicester City wins by a point over Ipswich Town and Leeds United.
Ipswich, that's who it was. Okay, so Leeds is in the play. So the playoffs, I don't think started actually.
Mhm.
So what are the playoffs? It's Leeds, Southampton. Or wait, do they? Yeah, no, they're done.
Oh, playoffs are still going on. You got Leeds United and Southampton
Versus Norwich.
and
Yeah.
Southampton versus West Brom.
So we're gonna see Leeds, who
Leeds versus
ruined
Norwich.
American soccer players last season,
Mhm.
play against Josh Sargent. Does Josh Sargent kick Leeds and make them stay in the
Oh
lower
my
division? Can we do this to Leeds? Can we please?
Jesus, you're a sick
Where are
man, Mitch.
Where are my Josh Sargent fans?
I
Can
wanna-
we do this?
I'm curious what Leicester's team was. Who's in their lineup? Okay, let's take a look at this. Jamie Vardy still there.
Of course.
Vestergaard, Cody, Pereira, Akgun, Nadidi. All right.
Yeah, a lot of guys from the Premiership stayed with the team. A lot of them. I mean, that's the fun
Hamza
thing. That's why the
Choudhury?
championship is fun, man.
Yeah, they got some players. I mean, it's very interesting. Hopefully, they got some. I'm rooting for Leicester City. I'm a big Jamie Vardy fan.
Agreed. I love Jeremy Vardy. Chugging Red Bulls, being an insane person, wife starting drama.
Well,
it's the best.
I want to bring your attention back to the EPL, though, because there's something interesting that's happened here in the EPL. I'm going to show you guys here in the league. Just 1 second here as I show everybody who's watching the podcast. Greatly appreciate you guys. Click that like button for more Enemies of the Fire. Greatly appreciate you guys and all your comments. We'd love to read your comments. But take a look at this. If you look closely at the Premier League, there's an interesting player at the top 4. Aston Villa. Where the heck? They're getting a Champions League spot. And that is drawing some consternation from EPL fans.
I mean, I don't know why I mean, it's not playoffs. They did this for real. You are what your record is, man. Like, that's why you see Man United at 8th and Chelsea at 7th. You have this crop of West Ham, of Aston Villa, freaking
keep in mind,
Brighton,
keep in mind that that West Ham still has a chance to get a Europe spot.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So
That's gonna be a well. No,
no, hold on. No, never mind. Nope.
Yeah.
Never mind. I was looking at the goal difference.
No, it's tough, but I'm telling you, James, you're seeing some of these smaller teams kind of do something, man. Like your Brightons of the world, your well, Newcastle should no longer be considered kind of. They've got the money to back up the tradition,
They
right?
got the money.
Guess where they finished, though? They finished in 6th place, behind Tottenham, behind Aston Villa, behind Liverpool, behind Arsenal, and behind Man City.
Yeah, but Man City did that for a couple years too before they won. Remember when they had Robinho and Joe and stuff? Like,
Yeah.
Man City was in second for a while until they finally started winning a bunch of championships. So
This is going to be a trivia question for a soccer game. Newcastle finishing above Chelsea. Didn't see that coming.
Oh, I did. Chelsea's a flaming hot garbage. I can't believe Man United, West Ham, and Brighton finished below them. And Fulham. Fulham regressed a little bit, but it's still good to see Jedi playing so well. But no, the whole reason I want to bring up the Premiership is we kind of have a battle at the top. I actually kind of think we have the ability to have the funniest thing on the planet happen, which is Man City lose to West Ham and Arsenal lose to Everton.
That will be so anticlimactic, bro. That
would be perfect because that would be the biggest kick in the teeth to Arsenal ever.
You know what? And the thing about it, bro, you know what makes it sad? I actually watched the documentaries on Amazon Prime for Arsenal, and then
I didn't know they had them.
If you
they
like
had
footy,
one. I don't know if they have one for decent, but they have one where So Mikel Arteta, the head coach from Arsenal. Oh, bro, man, that guy. If there is a perfect successor to Guardiola, it's him right there. This is basically a battle between the student and the teacher.
I'm interested. I'm back on board. I was mad that they both flopped to get some wins earlier, like a couple weeks ago, but I'm back on board. And it's talking about being back on board. We have a big news to talk about with our friend Jesse Marsch coming up next. You can just kick that like button. We'll be here.
On Enemies of the Fire.
Welcome back, fellow enemies of the fire. And now for soul-crushing, horrific, depressing news. Jesse Marsch is now the head coach of the Canadian national team. And he also... And gentlemen, before we get into anything that actually hurts the soul, how ridiculous is his job title?
What do you mean?
It's like MLS presents Jesse Marsch, the Canadian national team head coach. Because, like, literally... Because the Canadian national team's financial disarray, they had to get money out of the 3 MLS owners in Canada to also chip in and pay his salary.
Really?
Oof.
Yeah, did you not? Yeah. So it's like literally like, like a concert, like Jam Productions presents, like MLS presents the Canadian national team head coach, Jesse Marsch.
Can you imagine that conversation between the president of the Canadian Soccer Federation, like going up to like all the clubs, like, hey man, I'm glad things are working out for you, but any chance you could like kick over a couple of million our way? We have this plan to get a new head coach.
So beyond all the panhandling that had to happen to get him,
yeah.
How do we feel? I feel like this is a massive, gigantic, meteor-shaped destruction, miss for the Chicago Fire, but also for the U.S. men's national team.
I feel like Canada got the best coach for the U.S. men's national team.
Yes, but here's the thing. Here's the flip side. I guarantee you, depending how Canada does the next, whatever World Cup cycle or World Cup, it's gonna determine whether or not Jesse Marsch is gonna be the head coach of the U.S. men's national team.
Well, I mean, what
if he crashes and burns, I guarantee you that everybody that was on that Jesse Marsch bandwagon is gonna be like,
DPG. If he doesn't crash and burn and he's successful, he ain't never coming back.
No, he's got his job.
He's gone.
He's gone. He's gonna be gunning for that U.S. men's national team job, bro. Easy.
Well, I don't think so, man. Here's the only scenario he comes to the U.S. now is either after the World Cup cycle, or if Canada does well in the Copa America and we bounce out in the group stage and we back up the Brinks truck. But even then, I think he's going to tell us to go pound sand. Like, honestly, I don't know how this could have been any worse. We're still stuck with Berhalter. He was and then here's the thing. I was like, he why take the Canadian job? He turned down different premiership jobs, championship jobs, looking for the right fit.
What?
Went to podcast, put poor Heath Pierce out of work.
Wasn't
podcasting, and then he and then he was linked to South Korea.
Yeah. I was gonna say that. Wasn't he linked to? He was a finalist for South Korea.
They were having talks. So why would he take the Canadian job? And then why?
I know why.
Why?
Because he could go to Wisconsin whenever he wants, and it's a short trip. That's all.
He could have done that from Chicago. He could have run this franchise for 5 years.
Look, man. Chicago and every head coach around the world, except for really bad ones, Chicago is like coaching a Sunday afternoon league.
Well, they backed up the Brinks. They backed up the Brinks truck for him, and he said no. And he didn't want to be a coach here so bad that he decided to go to the Canadian national team. The team has some talent, but there's a reason they didn't perform at the World Cup. It's that their amenities, their federation on a whole is a joke. It can't handle having two successful teams in the men's and women's team.
Let's be honest here. The Canadian Soccer Federation is run like a freaking I don't want to disrespect any organization. I'll just say it like this. It's run by a flag football community center, recreational sporting event.
Yeah, it definitely feels like
the Park
soccer
District
falls somewhere behind maple syrup in the list of priorities. I do see what you're saying there. It's just it's not
run. It's not like the U.S. Soccer where U.S. Soccer has its fingers everywhere, and you see U.S. Soccer all over the place. Whenever the U.S. men's national team comes to town,
yeah, they got their fingers in everything, man. Numbers, prostitution. No, I'm kidding.
Do you guys think that Canada has the talent that's gonna, measure up to what Marsch needs, and
no,
compared to what he would have had in America? Because
are you kidding me?
I'm hearing a pundit say that he's probably gonna want to do too much too quickly with this team.
No way,
probably.
Dude, no. He's like a fanatical Red Bull, right? Let's be real. He's a fanatical Red Bull, which means
drinker,
but you with their style of soccer with the high press, right? So I get that you can't teach all the intricacies of it.
Come on, am I the only one manhandling handling the sound here? Hit that for the DPG there.
Oh man!
All I'm trying to say is he has a fuck ton of fast guys when he could really just be go run at these people and make them nervous because they're just as disorganized as us.
You know who plays like that too? gonna tell you right now.
Who?
Jamaica.
Well, they win games they're not supposed to all the goddamn time. That's all Jesse Marsch needs to do is win a few games he's not supposed to.
You know who else kind of plays like that too? Maybe not as fast, but fast enough. Panama.
Okay, but
I'm gonna tell you this right now. Jesse Marsch is taking a team. Jesse Marsch is taking a team that probably has like 1/4 of the talent that the U.S. men's national team has.
Are you sure about this? They got Kyle Larin. They got Kyle Larin leading the front. They got Jonathan David also up front, and they're really good. They got Kwan Noir, who's a really good player who wants out of Montreal. They got Ahmed, who's a pretty decent player.
Oh, let me ask you this.
He's single-handedly leading Vancouver Whitecaps to the top of the table right now. You got Steven, I don't know his last name. You got Kone, who plays for Watford. You got, Steven plays for FC Porto. Alphonso Davies plays for Bayern Munich. You got Kennedy.
You mean he plays for Real Madrid?
Who plays for Wolfsburger.
Wolfsburger.
Bombito plays for Colorado. And Buchanan, I don't know, some guy who plays for Inter Milan.
Let me ask you this. On a full U.S. men's national team lineup, is there any MLS guys that start?
Not at full strength.
Okay. James, you just mentioned like a handful of MLS guys.
3. They have 3 and their goalie. So 4 total. So
anytime I hear an MLS guy in a lineup for the U.S. men's national team, to me, that's a weak spot right there.
But that's your American soccer inferiority complex showing. Like
it's a weak spot,
like
sir.
No other team acts like that, dude. They've got MLS guys like Hache Rios was on Argentina's team playing for the Chicago Fire. You know what I mean? Like
who?
Oh God, what's his name? Cacho Rios?
Are you talking about Rios from Uruguay?
Yeah, what did I say? Argentina?
Argentina. I was like, who?
My bad. But Uruguay, like, I mean, on a very good Uruguay team, nonetheless. I don't know, man. I'm really pissed because I feel like not only did the U.S. miss out, but Chicago missed out, like, big time. Like,
I don't think Chicago missed out, bro. First of all,
you don't think Jesse Marsch could have done something?
He could have done a lot, but nobody wants Chicago Fire. And that was evident by the laziness of our owner that didn't want to go out and hire a real coach and instead settle for the guy that's been a janitor, that's been a field keeper, that's been an announcer, that's been an intern, that's been what else? What am I missing? Technical director, that's been a player. What else? What other role have you been given Copas?
Commentator, Sparky, head of ticket sales.
That's next. I'm expecting Copas, one day he might not be a head coach. He's going to pull out the mask, the Sparky mask, and you're going to see Copas. That's all it is, man.
He's not the hero we want. He's the hero we deserve. James, you've been shockingly quiet. Are you not a huge Marsch guy? Because I remember you telling me you thought Greg Berhalter over Marsch.
I'm sad. I'm sad for USA. This is the best coach for USA right now.
Over Berhalter.
The fact that Canada is getting him is for this. I mean, like, they got the best coach in North America. Sorry to say. Wait, who is the best coach in North America coaching for Mexico? No. Is it coaching for USA with Berhalter? No. It's Jesse Marsch. He's the best coach in North America right now.
You know what's the sad? Part about this?
He's the coach of Canada, which makes him the best national team coach in North America right now. And it's sad that it's not the U.S. coach going into the World Cup.
So you know what's sad about all of this? Is that at one point, U.S. soccer had their first pickings on who was going to lead this team to the 2026 World Cup. They literally had top coaches trying to interview for this role. And they settled for the same guy that couldn't beat the Netherlands in a World Cup.
Well, that's because they asked Greg Berhalter for the model coach, and he described Greg Berhalter, and they went out and found Greg Berhalter. That's why. Yeah. That's why that shit happened.
Jesse Marsch was quoted as saying, I can't wait to get started. Imagine if he said that about USA.
Well, I know the U.S. Federation is too busy trying to like dunk on him with memes after Berhalter stumbled into a win. You know what I mean? It's just it makes you want to pull my hair. Like I was after the Berhalter thing, I really, really, really had my hopes high that eventually, out of just attrition,
And the
he
thing
would
is,
eventually take the fire job.
the thing is that you can see all the technical weakness that Berhalter has from a U.S. men's national team standpoint. Like, he's not tactically that adept to most situations. He gets out played by more experienced coaches. And I think this was the worst decision we could have gone. And yeah, I got mine right over there. Let me get it.
I don't have any U.S. swag anymore. I used to have a bunch, but
Right there.
it's I don't know, man. I'm unhappy. Like I said, after the Greg Berhalter thing, I was pretty sure we weren't going to get him until after 2026. No. Okay. Hold on. I was gonna pull us out of this segment, but I do have one more question for everyone.
Yeah.
I want us to think about the worst case nuclear scenario. Greg Berhalter.
That they fire Berhalter this coming next few weeks, and they reach out to Marsch and be like, "Hey, can we pay our buyout clause? Are you still interested?" Ain't gonna happen.
Not even.
Ain't gonna happen.
But even without Marsch, who is now the candidate for a U.S. coach?
Nobody.
When Berhalter flames out of the Copa America.
You know what? Wilfred Nancy.
Nah, he's looking for Europe.
Yeah.
He's looking for European jobs.
Look, the best thing that could happen to us is that Jesse Marsch's first check from the Canadian Soccer Federation bounces.
Yeah.
And he quits.
Complete and utter collapse of the Canadian dollar. That's the best thing we can hope for.
It just bounces. And Berhalter, and then, U.S. Soccer realizes it and says, you know what, Berhalter, we gotta let you go.
We have direct deposit here. Anyway. All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about a little bit of the MLS madness that happened this week. And then we get to look ahead at a 2-game week for the Fire. Oh, my God. What could be better than for a bad team than 2 games in 1 week?
2 losses.
We'll find out. Yeah. Peace. Welcome back, fellow enemies of the Fire. We just got done talking all things Jesse Marsch, which included the U.S. men's national team. And before we move into the MLS, there's a phenomenon going on, James. Explain this to us, because this is kind of James's thing.
U.S. men's national team, we actually talked about it last segment, just briefly, just alluding to it, but U.S. national team is moving away from MLS. And how do
DPG couldn't be happier.
Yeah, I mean, how do you as a fan feel about it? I am with DPG. I feel good. I'd rather, depend on Weston McKennie and Christian Pulisic than Atlanta United's Miles Robinson. I just would. I'd rather depend on some of these guys who are getting tested in the Champions League. How do you feel about it? Is this news to you?
So to me, this is a sign of growth. Most of you, James, Toke, you guys remember how things were back 20 years ago, where everybody was excited because we had Brian McBride in England, or Clint Dempsey joining later in England,
and Bobby Convey.
And Bobby Convey.
Bobby Convey hype was real, baby.
Oh my God. You know, we had
Lee
the
Cooper,
random
Manchester United product.
and you had the random like U.S. men's national team player in Germany playing for some
Right.
team that nobody knew how to pronounce the name.
Wait, are you
So-
talking about Jermaine Jones?
No, he's talking about
whoa.
the mayor of Hanover, Steve Cherundolo.
Ah. What about
So-
Captain America?
Yeah, Captain America played for Manchester City.
Yeah, the original. But
The
yeah,
original.
Gladio was the kind of the original Captain America.
He played for the Manchester City before Manchester City was even a powerhouse, so to say. And oh man, if you guys were around that time, it was so hard to watch EPL games on TV. You might catch maybe one or two a week. Obviously now, that's all over the place. But this is a sign of growth.
Well,
The fact that
yeah.
unless you're England, Italy, Spain, Germany, Holland, maybe a few others, you always want your players to play on better leagues, and this is it. This is what every American fan has been striving for.
Do you think American fans are striving for losing some of their best players to England? You just mentioned England not having too many things to worry about here. Christian McFarland, could England gain a U.S. raised star? The English-born left back is the latest MLS Academy graduate to draw interest from Europe's elite clubs, and he plays for New York City FC.
I mean, honestly, to TPG's point and to what's going on here, like it is growth, and the growth you see the growth in different ways. Like England now wants a bite of this kid that was born in England. Before it was like, well, we didn't even register in our system, so who cares? Throw him to the Wolves.
Yeah.
But like, so there's growth there, and there's growth
Jack Harrison? Is Jack Harrison
Yeah,
registered as an Englishman or as an American?
He was, and I doubt he has his green card. I don't think he was here that long. He went over to Leeds and, had a good career. But, I think it's too hasty to consider where someone plays as proof of anything about the team.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's my point is the growth is that we don't have to have a spine made up of guys day in, day out on an MLS team, and a bad one at that, right? Now,
We don't want a spine made up of MLS players. No, we don't.
But the two players on an MLS roster I want to see are guys who are either going to get a huge MLS contract or go to Europe, guys on the upswing of their career, or for lack of a better example that comes to mind, maybe Haji Wright would be better to be used here, but let's just use the big flashy name. What if Gio Reyna has another stalled year and then comes to MLS and just is killing it, like 16 goals?
Nottingham Forest, as we mentioned in our last segment, they made it. So
they're not keeping him. They're not playing.
So he's gone.
No.
Okay,
He's
just double
back to
checking there.
Dortmund. Yeah, so
what?
So what if a player comes and resurrects his career
Could he
and has a
come
chance
home?
to go back? But that's what I'm saying.
So-
So what if he has another flame out year? Yes, you could damn well bet you could see Gio Reyna on an MLS squad to boost that ego, to get that confidence and get his feet back under him.
So when what you're mentioning here, if any U.S. men's national team player that's playing out in Europe, if they're coming back to MLS, two reasons: either A, no other team in Europe wanted them,
Oh, no,
or
not
B,
necessarily true.
The
No,
American
no,
player
hold
is
on.
good enough now to the
no.
situation
But
matters.
what I'm saying is to increase his stock. So let's say like a guy like Gio Reyna,
Right.
is gonna go back to Dortmund. Let's say Dortmund, after
They're not
going to
play him. Yeah, they're
not
going to
gonna
loan
put-
him out again.
Do you think that
Loan him out or sell him.
Do you think that if he goes to like Serie B or second division Spain or even championship, he was already in the championship, wouldn't that be a better career move than going back to the MLS?
I don't know.
I doubt it. I think
don't know.
back in the day that you brought up talking about Captain America and Bocanegra and Dempsey, it was like anyone that would possibly have you go, that might be your only chance. Nowadays, these players are good enough that the situation matters. And
What
if
if-
the situation doesn't fit him, another one will. Like Clint Dempsey could have re-signed for Tottenham and been a rotational winger, or he could have went to a bad relegation battled EPL team and been a starter, or he did what he did and he went to Seattle and was a goddamn rock star. You know, situations matter now. There are guys like, and that's the thing. He was still he was still on the world international level when he played for the US until the very, very end, when that happens to literally everyone.
How would you
But
guys
isn't
feel?
the goal? Isn't the goal to play at the highest possible level of competition?
Yes.
No, the goal is to have the best possible career you can have by making the most money, having the most fun, and being the most exposed, and participating in the most championships.
I'm speaking to DPG's question when I'm asking, what about the Scottish leagues? What if some of these players ended up with Celtic or Rangers? Is that ambitious enough? Because I feel like there is a level of ambition where, you know, maybe you shouldn't stay in the second league of Spain or the second league of Serie A. Maybe you should go to somewhere that's a little bit, you know,
but I'm saying,
I don't know, just more prestigious, even if it's a step down, like a Scottish league or even MLS.
I was gonna say more or less, if there was nothing available in in the Premier League and La Liga and and Serie A, it's just, if there was nothing available in the Bundesliga, there's no teams interesting. But there's plenty of teams that are, plenty of teams that are fighting for promotion. Plenty of teams. You can even, if you talk about Rangers and Celtic, those are probably the only two teams that you want to go when you're in Scotland.
Well,
but
hold on. You guys are bringing up Celtic, which is a perfect example of this. Like, I think the American player and MLS have both risen to a certain level where if you're not in a top 5 league, MLS is just as good of an option as a Turkey, as a Celtic, as a this or that. Like, look at CCV. CCV is getting offers for big Turkish clubs. And he wants to stay at Celtic because he's comfortable, he's happy, he's winning championships, he's a major part of a team, and he's better for it. How many years do we hear about CCV? That he bounced around from loan to loan to loan, not doing anything until he finally found the right situation for him.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this, he could be the exact same player he is in Scotland in MLS. It's just that the Scotland situation worked the best for him.
What if he became who he was faster? I mean, like, if he just stayed in MLS, like,
same with Eric Palmer Brown. He could have stayed in Kansas City, and we could be talking about Eric Palmer Brown right now. We're not saying shit about him.
Well, speaking of transients, I got another question to you. It's related to this very subject we're talking about. Brandon Vazquez. How do we judge players who, aren't necessarily in Europe but have left the American leagues? Like, where does Brandon Vazquez fit into the U.S. men's national team picture?
So Liga MX. Liga MX is. I was going to say Liga MX is pretty much neck and neck with MLS in certain aspects. It's a lateral
move, yeah.
It's a lateral move. It's not, depending on what team of Liga MX it is, it might be even a little bit higher.
Monterrey, he plays for CF Monterrey.
Yeah, so the situation with Brandon Vazquez is a little bit unique. That was his best move. You can cut him up was going to the Liga MX, which is fine. Now the question is, can he trampoline himself to Europe?
Well, I don't think so. I think he's stuck.
Does he need to? Because here's a question. Okay, let's just throw out this real crazy hypothetical. All right. I know none of this is real, but let's just throw this out here. Let's say that we get to the end of everybody's season and Jesus Ferreira has 11 goals in MLS. Not Chicho. Brandon Vazquez has 16 in Liga MX and Pepe has 7 in Eredivisie. What matters more to you? What sounds more successful?
7 goals in Holland, and the reason
I would totally disagree.
The reason I tell you this is because first, when you're playing in these European leagues, you're playing in the highest level of competition in the world. You're playing Champions League ball. You're playing against some of the best players in the world. You're not doing that in MLS. You're playing against academy products, college kids.
Well, Holland is all academy products.
Yeah, it's
the entire
so
league
many.
is an
Yeah,
academy
but
product.
Not necessarily true, but mostly true.
But they turned into the best players in the world. It's a difference. Eventually, but you're still
they're playing a certain style of football.
I don't know. I would take the 16 goals in Mexico for sure, and then even in that scenario, the 11 in MLS versus the 7 in the Netherlands, then you got a real conversation on your hands there.
I would take the 11 in MLS over Netherlands. I don't know.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. If it's not a top 5 league,
when you got goalkeepers making mistakes like Brady, when you got goalkeepers spread across the league that make random mistakes like that, it's not hard to imagine someone scoring 11 goals.
I think
you're
that
American.
I think that exists in Europe too, though.
It does. You're American,
but it's more rare. It's more rare.
And they're all kids, so it's probably not as rare as you think.
You guys are trying to say MLS is just as good as playing in Europe.
In certain situations, yes, 100%.
That's the worst. That's the worst thing you could say. This is the reason why.
Real quick question. So, these are our best players according to FIFA. And they all seem to play for Europe. You got Pulisic, Josh Sargent being our best striker per FIFA, but I mean, you could put Vasquez up there.
Well, hold on. I know you
Bright.
want to run through this, James. I know you want to run through this, but before you do, I just want to I can already see it coming because I play FIFA. But most of those players in Europe, where are they all? In a top 5 league, and if they're not, you're Sergio Dest in your top 5 league quality, but you needed to get your feet back under you for a season. So that's my whole point.
Walker Zimmerman's the one MLS guy. I'm like, yeah, he might make sense. Tim Ream, not MLS. Jedi Robinson, not MLS. Dest, as you just said. Tyler Adams with McKinney, Musa. They got Tim Weah listed here, but and I do think he's amazing. But as we said in a previous podcast, he struggled.
This year he struggled, but they're playing him too far back. They got to shit or get off the pot with Weah.
And then we got Turner, in net. And Turner, at the moment, might be America's strongest netminder.
So
yeah, that's unfortunate.
And using your logic, so Weah not having a good season, should he consider MLS?
No, because that's not the right situation for him. He had a down season. I didn't say he had a bad season.
You think Reyna should consider MLS, but Weah shouldn't?
I said Reyna. No, hold on. I said Reyna after another.
You screwed yourself, buddy.
Hold on, no. I said after another flame out of a season for Reyna. I didn't say now. I said if next season he flames out just as hard as this year, yes. But then again, he might find a place in the Netherlands or find a place in Turkey, which is, again, it's situationally based. If that works out better than Austin, Texas for him, that's fine. But if Austin, Texas is better for him, do that over those places.
Right. You got a point, but what about Weah? Weah is struggling out where he is right now in Serie A.
Weah had struggles. He's still a talented player.
What's the right move for him?
Stay. Work through a down year. That's it. That's literally it.
But not go to MLS though.
He doesn't need to.
He's gonna get loaned out. I bet you he gets loaned out. He's gonna get loaned out to a lower, slightly lower league than Serie A.
But you know what? Even if he gets loaned out to a Serie B team, the one that's fighting promotion, that might be a good situation for him because automatically he becomes the star guy.
I would agree with that in the Championship or La Liga B, but the second Bundesliga or the second Italian league, I don't.
Fine. Maybe the second La Liga. Fine, but still competitive.
Speaking of still being competitive, we got 2 more topics to get to before we close down this topic, and one of them is the MLS Disciplinary Committee recommends suspensions following New York City FC Toronto altercation. What the heck happened? 3 games for Richie Laria, 2 games for Prince Owusu, 2 games for Strahinja Tenisijevic, 1 game for Sean Johnson, 1 game for John Herdman, and a whole lot of fighting. Did you guys see what happened? hear what happened?
Dude, it was like the cartoons where like a big dust ball is happening, like you couldn't see anything.
All I know is that I never seen, our guy CJ or Sean Johnson just like lose it like that. Like
I've never seen him that mad before.
I
The
know.
milkman usually stays rather
the milkman, someone told something to the milkman to piss him off that much.
Something bad was said. Now you look at this extremely Eastern European player that he was mad at, and you jump to some conclusions, but there hasn't been a lot of rumors about what was said.
But the fact that Sean Johnson was held back, broke free, and ran up to the guy and was like screaming at him in his face tells me so that it was on some personal level. So, and I think
it got him.
I mean, I never seen him that pissed off. And you know what? The milkman, overall, he's an awesome dude.
What is it with Toronto and New York teams? Do you remember the big fight in the tunnel with Josie and Slasha Kleshton and stuff?
I don't know. Man. It's so probably someone said, "Hey, we make better pizza in Toronto," and I kicked it off.
I don't know, man. And then here's the best part of all this is that John Herdman, the man that the predecessor to Jesse Marsch, he literally said that what's his name? Nick Cushings or whatever punched a 19-year-old in the face 2 months ago. Like out of fucking nowhere. He's like,
and they didn't report to the league?
Yeah, so what is this? No, nothing.
So was that like a whole we're gonna interview John Herman and he just flat out just said that?
Either that or there was Twitter beef or something. I heard some of this secondhand. I didn't get to see all the comments.
That's wild. That's almost like those football players, Malik Neighbors and the LSU quarterback. I forget who it is.
You know what?
Having a bet to have for $10,000, and they put it out on a podcast, and then NFL's like, you can't bet $10,000, and they're like, oh shit, okay, we won't do that, and they're like looking at each other. We won't do that. The bet's off the table.
You know what this reminds me of?
Allegedly.
When you're punching a 19-year-old.
What?
You know what this reminds me of?
What?
What's that?
This is some Peter Novak stuff.
Oh no!
I love Piotr. Piotr's the best.
Oh man, got him.
Oh man, so beyond the fight. The fight's fun, whatever. Yeah. Unless something really disgusting was said, then it's not
to precipitate
fun.
this.
That's the question. But
how many games the guy?
Something set Sean Johnson off. Something made Sean Johnson erupt.
How many games does that guy got suspended?
One.
So everybody got one game.
He's the only guy that was suspended from New York.
I'm telling you, man, they're gonna investigate. Either nobody's gonna say anything, or the league's gonna come back and say, after further investigation, we have decided to increase the match ban for 2, 3, whatever it is.
Right now, he's got one game.
We'll see. I haven't heard anything about it. But then what?
Did Sean
what do you
Johnson
do with this?
Play for New York?
No. Well, he did. He played for New York City for a long time.
Did he play with Strahinja?
No idea. And thank you for pronouncing that.
Strahinja Tenisijevic.
Is this
exactly?
What about the deadbeat dad? Did he get involved?
Forsberg. Jesus.
No, that's the wrong New York.
That's New York.
Wrong New York.
Hashtag fuck them kids.
Speaking of the wrong New York, San Diego getting the wrong player. I mean, this guy should have been destined for Chicago. Sergio.
You want 38-year-old?
Dude, I want Sergio Ramos. I want someone who's a rival.
They say that we're not a retirement league, right?
Yeah, I want somebody to take out Messi. Like when he comes here, Sergio Ramos, he's gonna be like, "Oh shit, Sergio might take me out."
It's not gonna be Sergio Ramos. It's gonna be some second year player, fresh out of college, that he's gonna say, "You know what? This is my moment to shine."
Somebody on a 4-day deal from the MLS2 side.
freaking takes out Messi's knee, and that's it.
Oh God,
That's what I think.
Sergio Ramos, I actually is doing the damn thing. He started for was he at Sevilla? I'm pretty sure, but he started like most of the games. He played well, like he still got it, and maybe he doesn't have the speed, but he still has the footwork, man. He's still tall, and he's still a motherfucker.
He did play for
He's
Sevilla.
not gonna shrink. He's not gonna shrink, guy. He's still tall. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like I'm kind of for this. Like, let him play another year or two, man. Like, let's do this
For San Diego.
Would you take Sergio Ramos, or would you take 3 Cucho Hernandezes?
Three
but you
Cucho.
can't
3
sign-
Cuchos.
You can't sign 3 Cuchos. That means
Why
you
not?
I'm just saying 3 Cucho caliber players.
Yeah,
Yes.
that means you hit on 3 guys cheap enough to get on a roster that are that good. You're crazy.
It happens. Other teams do it.
I'm in. I mean, look at Columbus.
It doesn't just happen. They just don't fall out of the sky.
Let me ask you this. Would you sign Messi,
Yes.
or would you take 5 Acosta players, the one from Cincinnati?
Messi.
Oh, that's
One
so
Messi.
dumb, dude. Of course, no. If you had 5 players that good at their position, you're winning MLS Cup like Miami is.
I don't care. I'll take Messi.
You know what?
fair.
I know. I'll take Acosta because I'm thinking long term.
Yeah, I agree there, but I'm taking Messi all day.
There is no need to think long term. It's a salary cap league. You can go from worst to first.
As soon as Messi leaves his Miami team, that's it, buddy.
Oh, it's gonna crumble. They're gonna have the dark ages.
They're gonna go back to the bottom.
It's gonna be the dark ages.
This makes me hope that Messi's gonna be here next season, so that he can play Ramos, right?
Well, but here, hold on. Before we even get into the Messi versus Ramos, which will be the most orgasmic thing on the planet next season, let's think about this rationally though. As San Diego, you have 3 DPs to sign to start your life in the league.
Neymar.
They're looking at Chucky Lozano,
Neymar.
right? And I think they'll make that happen.
Yep, they will.
I'd much rather have Neymar.
Are you? Well, no shit. But are you signing a 38-year-old defender as a DP? Because that's the only way you're getting Ramos over here.
2 years of him, wouldn't you take it? But that's like a guy like Chiellini.
What if they convince Ronaldo to come?
I don't think he's.
If he's allowed to come, let's live under that.
Never mind.
If he's allowed to come, yes.
Too soon.
I don't think he'll ever come to MLS for that specific reason.
That'd be crazy. The Roman Polanski thing, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, well, he'll.
Well, the Roman Polanski thing is crazy, and the allegation. But who knows? At this point, I just don't know. We don't know if it's true or not. It seems strange.
I don't even know what the real story is. I have very bits and pieces, and I'd rather not with Ronaldo anyway, man. Messi is enough of a circus, and it's a more wholesome, good time of a circus,
isn't it?
I feel like Ronaldo
he doesn't
might
even
come
speak English. It's kind of cute.
But here's the thing: look at what Miami's doing. Messi would not come here and not win. Ronaldo, I think, would come here and be fine being like Chicharito.
There's no way. There's 0% Ronaldo would come here and not win the league.
No, he wouldn't mind being a big star.
0%. He would win.
He'd be
Will he be another Gareth Bale? He wouldn't be another Gareth Bale.
He'd be even better.
No, Gareth Bale. Nah,
he'd be
I
way
think
better.
You're both off base, but
way better.
No, he's still got the talent. Let's not kid ourselves on that. But
he's approaching 900 goals, by the way.
Exactly.
All right. Well, before we bounce out of here and start talking about the Fire, I want to say one thing. I was right. Messi hates the new you have to sit out 2-minute rule, just like I did.
Yeah, look at that prima donna. What do you expect?
Prima donna, just
I
like
told you.
He hates it.
And I will say this because I know all the Messi marks out there are gonna probably watch this, and they're gonna give us likes and they're gonna give us views, and that's all fun and good. So yes, I will say this: Messi's mad because he's not getting his way.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm with you, DPG, and I am a big Messi fan. But in
Hold
this
on.
way,
Hold on.
fuck Messi. Fuck him because this what a little bitch. And so is Luis Suarez, which is the real thing that they're pissed at. Basically, Luis Suarez got called walking his fat, slobby ass, sucking on his lollipop, walking over to the sideline, and he got called not getting there in time for the substitution rule. That's what they're really complaining about. Tata's like, I don't know about this new rule. I never explained it to these guys. Yes, he's Bela Lugosi in my mind. But because he let them figure it out, and they'll figure it out. Like Luis Suarez, you can't figure out to walk. He walked purposely to the one far side instead of just walking off to the side like he knew he could have. He was being an asshole. So fuck him. I'm talking about Luis Suarez. But Messi, what happened to Messi is a lot different. What happened to Messi is he got fouled. And he was saying that, like, if they're going to give him a yellow card and it's going to be one that takes me out of the game potentially for 2 minutes, like, that penalizes our team for me getting hurt on them yellow card fouling us, which is an egregious foul. And that is a problem. That is kind of something that they have to figure out and potentially mitigate, right?
But you know what it is that, even before Messi, some of these more or less, some of these more higher caliber DPs would normally get preferential treatment by the refs with such situations like that.
Oh yeah.
So the fact that the ref didn't do that this time, it's more or less it comes to a shock to fragile Messi. So me personally, I think the ref did what he was supposed to do. Messi wants to cry and bitch about it and make it known to the world that he hates the new rule, then let him cry and complain about it.
Exactly.
How are you going to accuse a guy of complaining that he's not getting his own way when he's leading the league in assists and goals?
True.
And his team is in first place?
Hey, no one's above the law.
It's a dumb rule.
And
it's a dumb rule.
No. And then he's complaining he's not getting the calls. Like, oh, please. He's leading the league.
Michael Jordan
in goals
used to complain
and
he ain't getting calls, dude. That's just what stars do.
It's true.
Speaking about what stars do, we're gonna go do some of that before we come back and talk about this next about the Fire's 3-1 defeat in St. Louis.
Oh,
yep.
Abysmal.
Oh.
Yep. All right,
stick around. I promise we'll have fun talking about it.
And kick that like button for Enemies of the Fire, and we'd love to read your comments. What was the part where you're like, Let us know.
Welcome back, fellow enemies of the Fire. Here we are to discuss the Chicago Fire's 3-1 defeat to St. Louis in St. Louis. And gentlemen, I was there. I drove 6 hours to watch my team give up a goal in the first 2 minutes of the game. How did you gentlemen consume the game?
I mean, my day wasn't ruined by being in St. Louis.
I'm so hot. Why did it take you 6 hours to drive to St. Louis? Normally it takes 4.
No, 5 to 6. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Dude, it's like 6, bro.
Yeah.
I went. So a little bit of background.
You got lost? That's probably what it was.
not at all. So my buddy I grew up with is a Cardinals fan.
Oh.
So he was just getting into soccer.
And I'm a White Sox fan. Boo.
And he was like, forget the baggage of the Fire. I'm gonna jump in fresh with St. Louis.
Really?
So last season, he came up and we got to sit in some really nice seats in Soldier Field and watch the Fire win.
Yeah.
And so he returned the favor by getting a hotel room that was right across the street from the stadium. And
Busch Stadium, or what is it now?
No, from what is the name of that stadium? I don't know. It's pretty nice. It's decent. It's
at the dog food stadium.
Dog Park
probably
Stadium.
Is. Yeah,
Dog Park Stadium.
Armpit Smell Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'll say this.
What do they
as
put on
far
their
as-
pizza in St. Louis? What is St.
They
Louis
put
style
that.
pizza?
They put that cheese, that Provel cheese.
They put deodorant on it? What?
I don't know what they put on food because the only thing I could eat was French fries because nowhere had
Well,
anything vegan.
They put so they don't even put mozzarella on their pizza. They put some weird provolone cheddar mixed cheese.
Well, I had a good.
Gouda,
I had a blast
Munster?
until the game started. It was brutal. As far as a game day experience, they
Yeah.
put on a pretty good game day experience.
How was the stadium for food and stuff like that? Did you try any of that?
No, I did not, but there's hella stuff all around. It's pretty easy to get in and
It's
out
fried
of.
ravioli. That's all it is.
But game day experience, what do you mean by that? Elaborate.
Well, they always have like, they got a nice parking lot where they do the tailgate, and they always do like a thing outside the stadium where you can actually buy. They have concessions like facing outward from the stadium. Like,
whoa! You remember
Yeah.
going to Bridgeview? They never had concessions really stayed facing the outside.
They had They had the store. They had the store that you can go in but you just can go.
That was it. And then so they also had a band there. Like this kid. It's funny if
a one-man band.
No, it was a kid. He had a band, backing band, but he was like a solo artist. But like, the funny thing is, like, it was pretty good. But like, you think of Missouri, and I always think of like the hillbilly aspect of Missouri, and you forget that there's
everything past Joliet or Plainfield is the hillbilly.
You ever see the movie Twister?
Yes. But you forget that they also fall under the umbrella of Midwest emo. So this kid was like a Midwest emo kid, and it was like listening to my ex-wife's music again.
Oof. Oof.
But
that sounds
I
depressing.
digress. So I get into the stadium, everything's cool. I'm actually, where my seats were for the game?
The middle of the stadium.
I was not in their supporter section, but I was behind the other goal. So really, I was exactly where I sit for like Fire games.
Wait, so you were like in amongst St. Louis fans? Because I did see a video of Fire fans, and they seem to have like their own sizable little section.
They did. We'll see. Like,
you weren't with them?
No, I didn't get the away supporter tickets. My buddy bought tickets, right? So I sat with him.
So how did the St. Louis fans treat you?
I mean, pretty great, except for that first goal. Other than that, that's when they felt that their shit talking like height of power was 2 minutes into the game when they scored right in front of right where I was.
St. Louis sounds like a little brother, big brother rivalry with Chicago. And like, when the little brother beats the big brother, like they still feel bad for the big brother, but they're going to rub it in as much as they possible. But then they'll buy him a hot dog later.
It was okay, but like, that part sucked.
I mean,
really, the game just sucked in general. Like, even Kuiper scored, which was great, and I was there. Right? And I was the only one.
Didn't somebody call that in the last podcast too?
I don't know. Maybe.
I'm pretty sure one of you two did. I
think I mentioned Kuiper scores and we still lose.
Yeah, I think somebody.
Yeah, you
said
probably
that.
had. You're probably right. But even then, like Guti's like collarbone exploded. So like you couldn't even be I mean, that's what it looked
happened?
like.
I have no idea what happened. I didn't watch last game. Is he done?
He took it in the chest. He took it in the chest. No, I think he actually still played on, but he took a hard hit.
Is he going to be out after that game?
We'll find out tomorrow.
From a ball to the chest?
Yeah, no, like some
what is
guy.
he? A soldier in the Civil War? A musket ball to the chest? What is he? A fighter in the Civil War?
50-50 challenge that led to the assist to Kuipers to score.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
I mean,
there was a collision.
He sacrificed his body.
Yeah, he did.
To do that pass.
Kind of like a quarterback in a football team. I like that.
Yeah, man. Like poor kid. He doesn't know to give up on a bad team this early.
It was like the last scene of 300.
Oh,
where he's just staring at the guy and he's taking arrows left and right
with his shield on it. Yep.
So then João Klaus scores a brace and kicks us in the nuts. It's just, it's a horrible game. It's a horrible time all around. Like, we looked absolutely inept. We looked like we had no teeth.
How did Frank look?
I mean, I couldn't see him.
Was he confused? Was he grabbing his giant board and start, playing tic-tac-toe on it.
No, dog, he ain't worried. Did you see his post-game conference?
was
He's
he
like,
reading
yo,
comic
it's
books
early.
on the side?
It's early.
Early?
Early?
Yeah,
Does he
It's
think,
a third
what
of the
is this, March?
season.
He
Yeah,
literally
it's-
said it's early. He said it's early in the season.
It's not early. It's like end of May, bro. This is not March. This is not the second or third game. We're in May.
We're in May. It's the
Gentlemen, can I tell you this?
Yeah.
My biggest hope for us Fire fans is that because we have a Wednesday Saturday game, they're just gonna fire him after Saturday. They just didn't.
Oh God, I hope.
They just
After
didn't
these
want
next
all the
two
chaos.
games.
Yeah, because
So-
I figured they just didn't want the chaos of like such a condensed schedule. Like get
So
through these
first
two
Charlotte
games
and then Columbus. I mean, like fire him before or after Columbus.
I want him fired today.
Yeah.
Of course, we want him fired today.
So, where is it? I'm trying to look for.
Because there's no way we beat the Clit nor Columbus.
The what did you say?
I heard that.
Have you never seen like their little abbreviation? It's CLT. It's not CHA. It's CLT for some.
It's not your fault. That's not your. You know what? You didn't say what we think you said. You were just saying the abbreviation
Yeah,
for
of course.
Columbus.
Oh, no, that was for truck.
No way Chicago finds the Clit on tomorrow.
Oh my
on
God.
Wednesday. No way.
So here's the thing, and this is something that
What's the thing?
So here.
You gonna flick that fling? You gonna flick it?
You just flick that thing.
Not the Clit, okay? But here's the thing.
We're not talking about Columbus anymore. We're moving on to
It's
what you're
about
talking
Charlotte.
about.
CLT.
Oh, that's a different CLT. That is Charlotte. Yeah.
Say CLT as a word.
CLT, Charlotte.
No, don't abbreviate it.
Yeah,
Sound it out. Sound it out.
Slut.
That's got to be the only team in
The
sports
C
history.
sounds like a S, so it's slut.
that-
So it's a slut.
yeah, something like that. So that's got to be the only
That's
team
either
in
slut
history.
or clit. It's pick one. You're right.
So
Oh, we're getting.
What did I do?
We're getting. This episode's getting canned by YouTube.
so Sing Electric from the Fire Discord.
Great MGMT song.
He made a good point. He's like, I'm not sure if Frank Clopas is fireable right now. Joe persuaded him to go for the job full time. Only Joe can fire him, and I don't think he wants to do that now.
Well, after they struck out on Jesse Marsch, like
They could have got Chris Armas.
and who's
I mean,
now
is
leading?
he doing anything? We could have got.
He's leading
Armas, we coulda
Colorado.
got Caleb
Colorado's
Porter.
doing much better than
They're doing
the
better,
Fire.
but are they doing anything special?
Well, they're doing better than us.
Well, they're doing
mean,
better,
better,
than the Fire.
but
Immediately
still, like,
better.
We've been so bad for so long. Better isn't really going to cut it. We're going to have to
No.
be good the next time we're
We
good.
just need to be better, though. We
You know
do
what?
just
You
need
know
to
what's
be
gonna
better.
happen? You know what's gonna happen? We're gonna go through another reconstruction era.
Oh, it's
We're
coming
gonna-
with a new
It's
GM.
coming.
Well,
They're
it
gonna-
shouldn't. We have pieces and we have open DP slots at the end of the season. This shouldn't be a complete teardown. But Frank Klopas is coaching these guys down to where it's going to be a complete teardown. And we're going to lose 2 years of fucking progress.
I don't blame
This is
Frank. I blame
stupid.
the guys who keep Frank in charge.
I blame the GM. I blame Shites.
GM.
I blame
Shites.
I blame the guy. I blame the guy that can't make any deals happen. Can't get a real coach.
Nope.
Yeah. I don't care. You know, I would trade in the training facility. I would trade in everything good everything better this club has done in terms of in the community. I would trade it in for a great GM and a great coach.
So you'd
I
be
would-
fine. Hold on. You'd be fine with Sector Latino being banned and us rocking the crown in navy blue winning games?
I said in the community. I made it clear in the community. All right. I will give up the fire pitch. I will give up the new training facility if it meant that we were getting a good GM and a good head coach.
I mean, yeah, I got I got a kidney.
Watch
too,
what you wish
I'll
for.
throw down.
Watch what you wish for there.
Dude, it
But at the same time, really how worse could it get? Because it's abysmal, and all they really have is the community outreach. Imagine if they were good with the community outreach.
Well, you know what's probably keeping Heights' job is apparently from what I've heard is just him getting the training field deal through, him making the whole situation in Switzerland.
Well, yeah, through. Lugano's good.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Lugano's good. So
accidentally, I mean, a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while is the same.
Yeah, like that's the thing, man. It just, God damn, like this homestand, we have wasted the last 5 games.
We've wasted the last 3 seasons.
Well, yeah,
actually,
but
make it 5. Make it 5 seasons.
Well, 5 at least since Schweinsteiger.
Hold on. This is what pisses me off about
everybody.
Since
Schweinsteiger's second season, we've wasted everything.
No, we've wasted everything since 2009 because listen, 2012 doesn't count. That was a playing game and we lost 4-0.
What about 2017?
2017, we started fading from the All-Star break. We started fading
all
the way down the rest.
I was there every game.
Yeah, I was there. You know why? You know why? Because Pano never switched it up. Pano kept playing the same thing over and over again. Give it to Akam. Akam is going to figure it out.
He's too worried about his Campbell's soup.
Oh, yep. Dude, Akam's on Mike McGee's TST team, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be fun. Gonna have to peek into that when it happens.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that later.
Oh, wait, guys, check out Sneaky Fox by Mike McGee. Shout out to our MVP.
All right, I got one. Are we still talking about the fire here? Because I have a question. Maybe it's totally aside. DPG, have you been watching a little Netflix Wrexham?
I have. I told you so. For those of you guys that don't know, I actually watched the first season of Wrexham when it first came out. I stopped watching it like an episode, like towards the end of it, and that's cool. People are happy and great. My thing is, I know American sports and I know how American owners are, and at the end of the day, the American and the owners are going to show. It's just a matter of time.
But here's the thing, DPG. The owner of Wrexham, one of them is American, the other's Canadian.
That's even worse.
So James, I think I know what you're about to reference. So I want you to. I have feelings.
Go. I don't know what I'm referencing. Go on.
Oh, I thought you said okay. So
take the words right out of my mouth. Yeah,
I saw an article that said something about how like MLS should go after like Wrexham players after this promoted
yes,
and it's
that's
like,
a good,
dude,
interesting comment. And yeah, what do you think about that?
That's so dumb. Like
that is dumb.
That's like getting that like Matt Sheldon from the 2nd division because his YouTube channel's big. Like these guys are not on level for like either these guys are not at MLS level yet. Like the show is cool and exciting, but they're like. That when you saw Wrexham do their U.S. tour last year, they got stomped. And like that, I mean, oh God.
Look, man, I am going to say that article was written by some sort of Wrexham mark. That article was written by somebody that saw the first season and said, oh my God, MLS should sign some of these guys. I never watched a game of soccer.
Yeah, it's not an informed take but I will say this, man, it's a little bit more exciting to talk about than like we are at that point of the season where Fire fans are starting to look at people like the most rizless, bald, white, Eastern European people and being like the Fire should sign them. The most uninteresting, boring players you've ever seen. That's how bad things are getting.
Have you seen the Fire's left backs?
Some of the most rizless people who have ever existed.
Have you seen both the Fire's left backs? And they literally are spitting images of each other.
Yeah, no, it's Doppelganger City, man. All right.
Speaking of... But
we're talking about bald white guys. Let's move on.
Wait. Just to touch up with Wrexham and their released and their list, like there's absolutely no. They should not be going after the glorious Wrexham players.
No, there's not like if they're getting cut by Wrexham, they're not good enough, dude.
Well,
the only Wrexham player I would want
they'll
would
probably
be Paul
good enough for
Mullins.
Chicago Fire, and let's be realistic. They're probably good enough for Chicago Fire.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Look at all the Fire rejects who are having huge Lugano season. Like, you know what I mean? Alceda, Shabilko, like these guys are.
The only time The only time the MLS should even consider looking at a Wrexham player is if the team has made it to the championship.
Exactly.
Or as it's in the Premier League. And when I mean the championship, I'm not talking about, oh my God, they're about to get relegated back to D1. More or less just, they're fighting for promotion. There's a guy that's available. Let's sign him. That's the only time.
And I agree with you. Wrexham just isn't on the level of MLS.
But this is, this show has created all these, all these fake soccer fans, that don't care about soccer.
Well, people who enjoy the spectacle. And you need some of those. You do need that. Like,
you're saying
look at how many
spectacle. If you brought in Tozer, you brought in McFadzean, you brought in Hayden. Yeah, I agree.
The spectacle is really
that's not
Paul
spectacle
Mullen. That
for
would
you.
be it.
We got Wrexham's reserve player cast off. Come buy tickets. It'll sell like 3 season
exactly
tickets.
What happens, man? Someone puts out a documentary and they think they're the expert.
It's gonna sell two tickets and like maybe 3 jerseys.
Man, it's like 3 guys who just think that they can get in front of a microphone and their opinion matters. Anyway,
yeah, exactly.
So let's look at this. Hold on.
Though.
We got.
Give us some views. Give us some views.
Hold on, gentlemen. We got to get through this. We got 2 games to look forward to.
Oh, geez.
Let's not look forward to. Not look forward to.
So tomorrow night we're searching for the clit. What do we find tomorrow? What happens?
I think the Fire could find the clit against Charlotte, but against Columbus, that's not going to happen.
It's gonna be a burning trash can.
It is. It's gonna be 0-0 of the most worst soccer ever.
It's gonna be the worst burning sensation. So it's. I don't know how else to explain it.
If the Fire can tie against Charlotte, they will surely lose against Columbus. But 1 point maximum is all I see out of the next 2 games.
Which means we will have gotten a maximum of 2 points in the last 7 home games.
Yikes!
Yep.
Like that's crazy. Because I foresee a 2-0 Columbus win.
Yeah, that's almost half of our home games. That's almost that's 1 game. You talk about 7 games. That's just 1 game away from like.
Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe it's only 6, but come on, man. Like we've scored 1 goal in 5 games or 5. Is it 6?
So my biggest issue with all of this is that is Joe Mansueto not paying attention?
Where is this guy?
He was in St. Louis.
He comments on our next podcast. He's like, I'm watching.
Oh, so yeah. So
and if you are Joe, thank you. Greatly appreciate it.
So what was he doing in St. Louis? Because he clearly wasn't. I didn't see any changes.
I was hoping it was to bring the hammer down.
And you know what's the problem? Is that he goes and walks around the stands. I don't know if he still does this. He'll walk around the stands in Soldier Field, and people go out there for a photo. Oh, look, it's the owner of the Fire. If I were to see that guy, I'd be like, hey, Joe, come on.
Would you really?
I need you to focus here.
Even if to me, like, I don't think so. I mean, like, I would still be highly respectful and be like, and not in awe, but I would be respectful and glad to meet the guy. In the same way, I'd be happy to meet like a guy like Joe Biden. Like, even though he's
look, guy. You can be respectful,
right?
But you could also say respectfully say
that's what tweeting's for,
Joe.
That's what tweeting's for.
No. The person's in front of you.
You tweet at the Chicago Fire Twitter handle. They're the Jesus Christ of the Chicago Fire. They're there to handle all the abuse.
so they can ban you afterwards.
Oh, geez.
It's like one of those things. Like it's what about the situation? You got to be respectful. Like
don't handle abuse at the Chicago Fire Twitter handle. That was a joke.
No, listen. I still am not against Joe. I feel like this. I feel like the problem with our last owner was it was like, how do I appear to care? It was like smoke and mirrors constantly.
You don't want to spend money.
This guy just keeps making bad decisions.
Well,
this guy's
why has he hired us? There you go. The bad decisions continue.
Dude, dog, if you want to throw money away, I will take half of Heights' salary.
First of all, I wouldn't think you're throwing money away. I mean, it'd be money well spent.
But honestly,
You know,
it's like I said, it's one of those things. Like I feel bad for him because I just feel like he just keeps losing. Like he just keeps like I don't even know. It's not like Vegas. It's like every spin he loses. Like
here's another stat. Here's another stat for you, buddy. $40 million spread across 4 years on 10 attacking type players. And you know how many goals they got to show for it? You know how many goals?
Not a one's got over 10.
60 across 4 years.
Oh.
60. Let me tell you something else. Let me throw some knowledge at you. St. Louis had 61 goals in total last season.
Jesus, that fast.
So that hurts my soul so goddamn hard.
So especially you, Toke, you don't like wastefulness, bro. The man is burning money.
I just wish the rules allowed him to burn money. Like if you're wrong, just sign the next one, you know? Like, but we can't. Like you have to make it work, and it's just that's where the problems are. Heights and Klopas, they need to be gone.
It's Heights, it's Pelser, it's Klopas. Those are the 3 guys that you need to get rid of because those are the guys that are making those decisions.
You know who Heights is? Heights is Jafar from Aladdin. He's in the ear of the Sultan, ruining everything.
Who's worse, Nelson Rodriguez or Georg Heights? And to me, it's actually Georg Heights because he has mismanaged the amount of money. At least Nelson was taking swings on like Schweinsteiger.
No, Nelson was here to shut the team down. That dude,
yeah, he was.
Nelson just
secretly pull a. What was the team that they killed out in Guadalajara? Chivas Guadalajara.
Chivas USA. But I mean, that was a dumb concept from to begin with, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, you could see where their brains were because there was no brands here, but like, still, yeah, that was a very dumb concept.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, the fact that Heights is still making these decisions, and the fact I'm not looking forward to the summer transfer window, man. If that man is still making high money decisions during the transfer window.
No, we have an open DP spot with Shaqiri leaving, opening up another DP spot at the end of the year. Heights cannot be allowed to fuck this up.
He's still here.
This transfer window.
Well, guess what? He's still here. And every minute that he's still here, I have a hard time believing he's going to get replaced.
Hey, Heights, you need to go back to Switzerland, buddy.
He's going to get a pick a new coach. They're going to kick out Frank, and they're going to bring in his next picked coach.
No, they're not. They're not picking nothing. It's Nagamura. Then Heights is going to get promoted, so he doesn't actually have to make these decisions anymore. And then they'll get a new GM and coach, hopefully. But really, that's the question. That is the question. Does he ever fire Klopas? Do we ever get Nagamura even?
Wow, does Klopas get the chance to just resign?
No, either Klopas is gonna go ahead and resign, but I don't think they're gonna do him like Yeller. You know, they're not gonna take him to the back and
they need to. We can't just like throw this whole year away, being like, well, Klopas he can function a team.
No, this is Chicago. They're gonna lead him to the basement, and it's gonna be like the signing, like that scene from Goodfellas or Casino. Jesus.
Man, the Joe Pesci scene.
Pilter calls the podcast is just like he didn't make it.
They got Robert De Niro crying. He's like, "Nah, fuck yeah!"
No, you got Joe slamming the phone.
Yeah, Joe. He's like, "Fuck!"
Oh, God.
Goodfellas, I think that is.
So are we all? Do we all agree? We think that it's going to be a tie tomorrow and a loss on Saturday.
One more piece I gotta say.
I'm not surprised. George Heights lost all the way.
George Heights gonna get promoted, and guess who's gonna be our new GM?
Joe Pesci.
Nope.
Please.
Peltzer.
Oh,
no. They're just gonna play musical chairs. No.
I would not. For a second doubt that they will not pull something like that on us.
Bring in Brian McBride at this point. Like, he's an upgrade.
Hey, you know what?
And he's got U.S. men's national team experience,
I asked Brian McBride, was it 2 years ago at one of the autograph signings? I'm like, hey, Brian, do you still coach? He's like, only my daughter's team.
Well, coaching's different. Man. Coaching's different than GMing.
Coaching is I'm
asking Brian to come in and take over GM.
Exactly. I will
What's
take.
Dennis Hamlet doing these days?
Oh, you know what? That's a good point.
I miss Dennis, and he has been successful, I believe, in his post-fire roles.
Do you think Peter Ramis will be a good GM?
Yes.
No.
Oh,
no.
okay.
Me and James
No,
will.
You're
me
right.
and James will.
No,
like,
you're
have,
right.
Like,
he would not be
No,
a good
he'll-
GM. He would be like Bill Belichick. He'd be like, he wants to coach the team, and if the coach is not coaching the team the way he wants to coach him, he's got the experience to be like, oh, fuck this guy.
You know who started off like that? Frank
Who?
Lopez. He started off as he was a technical director.
I know, and he was bad at that. He was like,
And then-
"Oh man, I totally set these coaches up for failure. Dope, I'll coach the team
No.
to failure."
No.
No. I'll coach the team. I'll clean
Yeah, I
up my
got
mess.
this. I can fail just as hard as these guys.
And thrust
So-
in the ref's general direction.
Oh
Look,
god,
man, you know-
best thing Frank Lopez has done post playing career.
It
is
still
the
is.
thrust.
It still is.
Oh man.
Oh god. All right, man. I think we've come to the end of our rope on this. Is anybody going to the game on Wednesday or Saturday? I
No,
will be
God.
going to both because I hate myself.
Oh
I will
god.
probably go to the Saturday game because my aunt's uncle is from out. He's here from out of town, so I might take him to a Fire game Saturday.
Oh god.
And put him through that torture.
Yep, might as
So-
well, man. Get to see Columbus.
Hey,
They're
look
pretty
at
good.
Yeah, they got to see Soldier Field.
But
Yeah, that's-
and
that's-
then did everybody get their free tickets because the Fire desperately want people to show up tomorrow?
Yep. They
I
offered me.
so I've
Hey, Fire! You want people to show up tomorrow?
Damn.
How about you fire Heights and Klopas and hire a respectable GM?
If they fired Klopas before this weekend and they hired somebody we actually cared about, I guarantee we all would have showed up on Wednesday. It would have been like breath of fresh air.
okay,
Whoa.
but we have what? Probably 2 more weeks before Europe is fully wrapped up and you can start poaching coaches.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Fingers.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest here. You bring a European coach, he's gonna want full control.
That's fine.
The
Let's try
problem
something
is
new.
problem is that Heights, he's a little stingy with the control.
Ooh, really? You think so?
Well, that's probably why Klopas is coach.
Well, I mean, Heights is, but what about Joe? Joe has got to do something, and the longer that it goes without him doing something, the more fans he loses. There are fans right now. We have a podcast. We're fans. They are losing fans left and right at the moment. It really feels like, because they're digging themselves the hole that was dug before by Hotman. They have not dug themselves out of.
Nope.
And on top of that, it's just everybody around it sees it and they're like, this is just getting worse. We thought it was going to get better, with all these reasons to have hope. And despite all these reasons to get hope, the canary is literally dead. You're looking at the canary in the cage of the coal mine and you're like, oh shit, that thing's long dead. It's rotting.
It's sad. It's sad when the commentators on every Fire game literally talk about how bad the Fire is.
Well, they were
and
calling
how-
Shaqiri, right? Wasn't that what? Did you?
Yeah,
did you read this
well,
last?
here's the thing.
I heard that on
when we had
Twitter.
who was the commentator on this past game?
I think it was a lady.
It was a lady,
Saint
and there was the other
Aubin?
guy. The guy that was a commentator before the Apple deal.
I don't
What's his
know.
face? What's his name? I forget.
Terrence.
Yeah.
Comment below if you know.
So actually said the Fire haven't scored in X amount of minutes. He said something in the lines of the Fire haven't scored in X amount of minutes. This team has found himself in this position over and over again the past couple of seasons. So when you got a guy pretty much telling you haven't scored, when you have commentators just freely throwing out that we suck and that they haven't fixed the culture and all this BS, that should tell you how bad we are.
Yeah, I'm glad they're saying it. Dude, I'm telling you this.
They're finally putting a little pressure. Yeah.
There was actual reason for hope this year. Like what you guys are talking about are issues that have been going on for so long.
Yep.
But like even just specifically this year, like having Klopas and Heights is like having an infection. You haven't even cleaned the wound.
Oh,
Because like I
Nope.
said, these players are getting worse.
Festering. You're gonna have to cut off the arm and the leg.
Aragoni is getting worse because he's trying to do too much. He could be one of the best outside backs in the league, and he's trying to do too much, and his performance is suffering. Same thing with Guti. Same thing with Kuipers. These people are suffering under this. Like it at the very least, change the coach.
At the very least, change the coach.
You know what's crazy is I saw Nagamura more animated than Klopas from the bench.
I get rid of them both. I don't need Nagamura here.
Yeah, I don't need. Yeah, Nagamura. We don't need none of that.
You know what? I'll take Nagamura if it means firing Klopas. If it means,
you know what?
If it means Frank. If it means firing Frank
Not at all.
tomorrow.
Not at all.
And then let him finish off the season. You gotta finish the season with a coach.
Nope, not my
I'm with
Nagamura.
DPG on. I'm with DPG on this. Just different. I'll take
All
different.
Right. It
man.
is different,
Yeah.
but I'd be careful what you wish for.
I'll take different up until the end of the season. After that, you get rid of difference, and you bring something a whole lot of different.
You got to. And speaking about a whole lot of different, we'll be bringing a whole lot of different on the next episode. So, gentlemen, I think this is a wrap. Everybody, thank you for if you've gotten this far, we love you. Kick that like button, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. We're around, and you can probably tell different people comment from the same account, so you never know which one of us you're talking to.
Hey, by the way, so who's the Fire playing tomorrow again?
I'm not what Charlotte. Why? Is there something funny about Charlotte?
Yeah, CLT or a slut.
Good night, everybody. We love you. Peace out.
We'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Kick that like button. Punt it. See you next time on Enemies of the Fire. Woo! Comment below. Love to read them.